Mindfulness of Conditionality. Begin by settling into a comfortable position, allowing your hands to rest naturally. If it feels right, gently close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath, noticing its natural flow without changing it. We start with unawareness. This unawareness of not knowing keeps us from seeing clearly into the nature of our experiences, especially those that create difficulty. It limits our understanding of how hindrances arise, how they might be relieved, and how they could be prevented. Notice if there's any area of unawareness in your own mind right now. Without seeking to change it, just observe what it feels like to sit with any sense of not knowing or uncertainty. From unawareness, we move to habitual mental patterns. All the thoughts, feelings, and intentions driven by this lack of understanding. These patterns are the mind's automatic reactions shaped by past conditioning and habits. Let's take a moment to simply observe any recurring thoughts, feelings, or reactions that come up. Allow them to be as they are, without needing to follow or resist them. These patterns give rise to consciousness, our basic awareness that is shaped by unawareness. Here, consciousness becomes conditioned by the patterns it contains. Take a moment to observe your overall state of awareness, as if you're gently watching your thoughts, feelings, and impressions from a slight distance. Noticing how they flow and influence one another. Consciousness expresses itself through the mind-body connection. Our combined experience of thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. With consciousness present, we become aware of ourselves as body and mind. Notice if there's a sense of attachment to this experience, a feeling that this body and these thoughts are mine. Let yourself observe this experience of self without attaching any judgment to it. Now, notice the 6 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Our sensory experiences create the platform for what we feel and how we react. Spend a few moments being mindful of any sensory input, noticing how each of the senses contributes to your experience in this moment. As each sensory experience arises, it leads to contact, the meeting point between the senses and the world. This contact marks the very beginning of our experience of the world. Gently observe the contact as it arises, whether it's a sound, a sensation, or a thought. Simply allowing yourself to feel it without judgment or analysis. From contact arises feeling tone, the basic affective quality of each experience, which may feel pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Observe any feelings that come up, noting whether each has a pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral tone. Let each feeling be what it is, without any need to change it. Feeling leads to craving, the natural desire to hold on to the pleasant, avoid the unpleasant, or distract ourselves from the neutral. This craving is a reaction to the feeling tones we experience. Take a moment to notice any sense of craving that arises. Just observe it as an impulse, letting it come and go naturally. Craving then leads to clinging, a mental stickiness, where we latch onto objects of desire or aversion. Clinging often shows up as stories, judgments, or interpretations about our experiences. Notice if any thoughts start to form stories about these feelings, observing without needing to follow or push them away. From clinging arises becoming. The process where our habits and self-identity are constructed around repeated patterns of reaction. This is where we form and reinforce the habits that shape our experiences. Observe if any recurring patterns arise, noticing how they may feel familiar or automatic, even if they aren't helpful. These cycles of contact, feeling, craving, clinging, and becoming shape our life experience. Our familiar ways of thinking and feeling give a sense of continuity, a story of self we live out day after day. Notice if any thoughts or feelings show up that reflect this sense of identity or repetition. Finally, these patterns lead to all sorts of mental health issues throughout life, including stress, suffering, anxiety, depression, and other challenges. Notice how these experiences, shaped by repeated patterns of craving, clinging, and habit, contribute to a cycle that often results in mental strain or distress. Observe any sensations or feelings of tension or discomfort that arise, acknowledging them without judgment. This awareness helps us see how these cycles contribute to the mental health challenges we face, creating the potential for relief through understanding. As we close, Take a moment to recognize the freedom that comes from simply observing each link in this chain of conditionality. By noticing each link, you create the possibility of awareness and breaking free from habitual cycles. When you're ready, gently open your eyes.